the guy I'm really excited about is Rommens. I thought he had an absolutely cracking game. I don't want to really start speaking ill of other guys in the squad, but it's just night and day for me from Macoma. It's quite rare, I think, for football fans to be excited over fullbacks unless you're buying, James Tavernier again. But he really made a difference in terms of on the ball and off the ball. His physicality, just a vast improvement.
I think that's the key to it. I mean, like Macoma, listen, I think we'll all agree he's done a decent job given, his level of experience, given what he was thrown into. I think he's improved as the season's gone on. I still don't think it would be a bad shout to be asking the question of Brentford if you could have him back, to compete with Rommens next season. But I definitely think you've seen a step up. And, I just think what you talked about there about his physicality, I think that has been the real noticeable thing. I think there's been times when opposition teams have targeted Macoma, thinking he's, while he's athletic and he can get up and down the pitch, he's not somebody who says strong physically. He can be bullied at times. You can outmuscle him. Nobody's outmuscling Tuur Rommens from what we've seen so far. I mean, he is an absolute specimen. Him along with Chutwani, obviously playing in that left-hand side, has added a real physicality. But what impresses me is not just the sort of off the ball stuff. It's how clever and how smart and just how calm he is on the ball. Final third, he's not just lashing the crosses in aimlessly into the box. He's trying to pick somebody out. He's trying to play passes. He's trying to link up. I've spoken to a few people this week for a piece that I'm writing for tomorrow's paper, and they all speak about how, in Belgium they've got this. I don't know. It wasn't the word they used, but I might say it's almost a snobbery about what they're looking for in a young player. They all have to have perfect technique, and they all have to, be great in the ball and be eye catching. It doesn't matter if you're a centre back or a goalkeeper. You need to be able to dribble the length of the pitch and stick one in the top corner. And they forget about, the nuts and bolts of football that really are probably just as important, because if you lose the physical aspect of football, your technique can often be overcome. So I think that's what he brings, and I think he brings a maturity. And again, we're talking about a guy who's only 22. I mean, the way he plays the game is as if he's 35. He's just so unflustered. He's so calm in possession, and I really think, it's only 3 games. I mean, I think that's what we have to keep reminding ourselves about, is that it's only 3 games in, and the fans are already so excited. And for a guy who was probably of the 4 that came in January, the most unheralded almost, he was the guy that seemed to attract the least amount of headlines. He's been the one that the punters are really, really taken to the most. Must say, I thought Chutwani as well was absolutely terrific. I mean, it just has, again, sheer ability to dominate in the centre of the park on the ball. I think he's bold with his passing as well. I think he likes to play. I think it was his pass at Firth Park that led to the opening goal, where he's willing to pass forward with pace in the centre of the pitch. He did it again a couple of times on Sunday, and again, it's just that bravery. And I think that's at times that this Rangers team's lacked, is somebody being willing to take the risky pass. And it's, again, going back to the crowd, nobody likes to be booed, nobody likes to have jeers at them if you give the ball away. But to be honest, if Rangers are going to get to the levels they need guys that are brave enough to ignore the crowd. And as much as the crowd can lift you, when the crowd are maybe at their tetchiest, what Rangers need is players who just blink that out and forget about that. And I think Chutwani, from what we've seen so far, it can be one of those guys. Again, I think we all have to caveat this with Rommens, with Chutwani, with Skov Olsen, with Nadiri. It's such a small sample size. They're 2 minutes in the door. There's a long way to go. We'll make our full judgments come the end of the season, but I think the fans are entirely right to be excited by what they've seen so far.